didn't know, this week is our last week of our summer series, and so it's back to school week, which is super exciting. Are you guys back in school yet? Yeah, I started last week. So, what we're going to be doing today is a little art project to get you excited for back to school. So whether you've already started or you'll be starting soon, this is a great activity and it can be modified for all age groups, just depending on the materials that you want to use. So this is what I've created, and it says first day of school on the top. So when you make your picture frame, if you want to take a picture on the first day of school, and then you can just go ahead and tape it or glue it to the back, and then you can have a picture to remember your first day of school. So the supplies that we're going to be needing today, I'm going to go ahead and show you what I used for this specific frame, and then I can walk you through some modifications if you want to make a different sort of frame, because the nice thing about this project is you can kind of make it however you want to. So you can follow along completely if you like the little boxes that show first day of school. Otherwise, you can really customize it to however you like. So, like I said, I'm going to walk you through what I used for this specific frame, and then I'll also walk you through different adjustments if you'd prefer to kind of create your own frame. So, the first thing that you're going to need is some colored paper. So I used black for my frame, but you can use any sort of colored paper. You could even use white paper if you wanted a white background, but one piece of paper specifically that's going to be the background for your frame, so I chose black. And then I just have, you see that? Just different colored paper that I want to use for my squares. So they can be any color, or you don't have to do them at all. And then I also have a picture. I'm not going to flip it over just because it's not a first day of school picture, but I just used this for the size so that I could get a 4 by 4.5 by 6, 4 by 6, the size of the picture for the frame. And if you don't have this, you could use a ruler and measure it out. And it could be a little bit it could be a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, but I just used a picture that I already had for reference for my frame. Some scissors, some glue. Again, this is liquid glue, but you can also use glue sticks or even tape could work for this. And then I used a Sharpie, so a thick Sharpie and a thin Sharpie, but these are permanent. So for my younger friends, if you want to use markers, that works just fine. So that is what I used for this specific frame. But again, if you want to make this your own, you can substitute anything. If you wanted to just use markers or crayons or colored pencils and just kind of, if you did a white frame and you just wanted to draw right on it instead of gluing this on, you could do that. Otherwise, I think stickers would be super cute, or if you wanted to draw something. So again, glitter, whatever sort of modification you want to use. But like I said, I'll walk you through how I did this specific frame. Are you ready to get started? Yeah? Okay. I'm going to adjust my camera so you'll be able to see. So I'm going to set my supplies off to the side because I want to have a nice clean workspace to give myself some room. So as you can see, I'm sitting at a table and I have plenty of space around me. I'm going to set my markers off to the side as well. And right now the only thing that we need is a piece of paper for our frame and then some scissors. So I'm going to take my piece of paper the long way and fold it in half like this. And it doesn't have to be perfect. See, mine didn't totally line up over there, but that's okay. It's just kind of to get the rectangle shape. So then you're going to open it back up, and where this crease is, you're going to cut. So I'm going to use my scissors and just cut one line down that crease. now you have these two halves. So we can put one to the side because we only need one. But if you want to make a second frame, you can hang on to the second one. So this is going to be the body for our frame. So if you want to do it, it doesn't matter whether you want to do it horizontally or vertically. I chose to do mine horizontally, so that's how I'm going to do it again today. But again, it doesn't matter whether you want to do it this way or this way. The directions to create it are going to be the same. So next, we're going to grab our picture and we're going to place it down. Oops, I forgot one more thing that we're going to need is a pencil. But again, you could use a marker in this situation. I'm just going to grab a pencil. Okay. I want to use a pencil just since my frame is black. It's going to help me be able to see it. If I used a black marker, I don't think I'd be able to see it that well. So I'll tilt you back down so you can see what I'm doing. So I've taken my picture face down and I've centered it on my page, on my piece of paper, how I want it to be. And then I'm going to use my pencil and I'm going to hold down the picture nice and tight so it doesn't move, and I'm just going to trace it. So for my younger friends, if this is kind of difficult, you could put a piece of tape at the top and the bottom and then trace around it that way, so it's not sliding around. But if it's not a problem, you can just center it and then hold it. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to use my pencil and trace around the picture. And if you're using a pencil, you want to make sure to press kind of hard so that the silver shows up against the black paper, if you're also using black paper for the border like me. Maybe not too hard so your pencil doesn't break like me. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect. It's just to get the outline for your frame. So it's okay if it's not a perfect straight line. Awesome. So then, I don't know if this is going to show up on camera a little bit, but you can see that outline there of where the picture was. So next, and I'm going to tilt you up so I can tell you about this part, because this is probably the trickiest part about it, is being able to cut out the middle section. So for my younger friends, this might be a part where you need to grab your parents and have some help. But for my older friends, you can watch and follow along. But I'm going to explain it and then I'll tilt you back down and we can do it together. So we're going to need our scissors here. And we're going to take our paper and kind of fold it in half, but you don't want to press down because we don't want a crease in our picture frame. So you're just going to fold it in a way like this. See how there's still some space here? And we're going to take our scissors and make a little slit through here. So I'll do this part with you. So fold it and make a little slit. And then when you open it back up again, see how you've got this space here where you can open up your frame a bit. So what that's going to do is that's going to help us take our scissors and open up our frame. So now we can cut through to the edge and then cut around our border. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So I'll tilt you down so you can see. So I'm going to cut to my pencil line and then just use my scissors to cut all the way around the border. And what that's going to do is that's going to pop the middle section out so that we're just left with something like this, the outside of the frame. Does anyone have a favorite subject in school? Math or science? Yeah. My favorite subject growing up in school was always reading. I'm such a bookworm. I also really liked art, clearly, since I'm doing an art project right now. Art is always fun to me. Okay, so now we got our little middle section cut out. So again, we can set this over to the side because we're done with it for now. And voila, we've got our frame. So from here, this is where you can begin to make modifications. So if you want to follow along with how I did it with the squares that say first day of school, you can keep on watching. Otherwise, if this is where you could start to put on stickers or markers or color. So kind of you've got some free reign here to do as you please. But if you want to follow along with me, I'll walk you through the process of what I did. So next, we're going to grab our colored paper. I chose 3 pieces just to keep it fun but simple, but if you want to do every single piece a different color, go for it. If you just want to do one color, that's also fine too. So to make the little squares, what I'm going to do on each piece of paper is just cut a little bit at the top. I didn't measure it or do anything specific. I just kind of cut a little bit at the top of each one of the 3 pages, just to give me a smaller space to be working with. So I try to cut it as straight as possible, but if it's not perfect, that's okay. So you've got one strip of the blue. Now I'm going to set this off to the side.